What's up guys? Welcome back to another video. If you guys are into handstand tutorials, progressions, strategies, and more, please hit subscribe on this channel. This coming year, I'm looking to post about 2 new videos a month and looking to grow this channel quite a bit. You can go ahead and subscribe to this channel and look for more information and strategies as to how to plan and train your handstands, because handstanding is very complex. There are so many different ways to do it, so it's just good idea to absorb as much information as you can and to formulate your own plan as to how to make this work. Hit subscribe, and thank you so much. So today we're going to talk about 5 habits that you can do right now to make your handstand better. Let's get into it. The first one is to point your feet or to point your toes. A lot of beginners have flexed toes, relaxed toes, bent knees, you name it. The bottom line is their legs are not engaged and they do not know where their feet are at. Our feet are the tallest point of our body when we're handstanding, and it's crucial that we know exactly where they are so we control them. If you think about it, handstanding, we do most of our shapes and transitions with our legs and feet. Our hands and shoulders are locked, they're not going anywhere, but mostly we use our creativity to form different shapes with the feet. The feet are going to tuck, they're going to straddle, they go together. So it's important that you know exactly where they are at all times, because if you lose track of where your feet are at, you will fall. It's as simple as that.
See my legs and feet, they are pulling up to the ceiling, locked straight and ready to join together into a straight position with straight legs, pointed feet, everything lengthening. Let's take a look at that again as I go into a V shape, legs also straight, feet pointed. And let's try one more time. Legs in a V and connecting to legs together in a straight line. And if my knees are bent, my center of gravity is going all over the place. And also it makes the whole entry and hold to be very unpredictable. Your feet are the tallest point of your alignment. It is crucial that you control them so you control your shape and your alignment here.
And our second habit would be to straighten your arms and elevate from your scapula. A lot of beginners have their arms bent. Even some intermediate practitioners have bent arms depending on what they do. When we bend our arms, we're wasting a lot of energy and strength just to support ourselves up. Imagine if you stand on your feet, but with your knees slightly bent the entire time. Your legs will burn out super quick, and the same thing will happen to your arms if you're handstanding with bent arms. Not only that, when your arms are bent, all that weight is sagging down to your wrists, and it'll actually increase the angle of your wrists, making yourself more susceptible for wrist injuries. With arms bent, it means that your base, your foundation, the things that are on the bottom supporting the entire handstand is unstable. Once we lock our arms and push tall from the scapula, we're basically locking ourselves in for balance. If our arms are bent, if our scapula is not elevated, everything in the foundation will be very loose, and your handstand will also reflect that quality.
I'm going to bend my arms here, and when I do, you see my lower body, my legs starts to give way a little bit. My base is going up and down. Nothing is locked in. I'm fighting for balance, and here I am falling down.
You never want your foundation to be rocky. You always want it to be strong and tight. Therefore, if you lock your elbows, straighten the arms, and truly push from your scapula, you'll have a way better chance of holding the handstand versus coming back down because something on the bottom was unsteady. Always, always, always straighten arms and push tall from your scapula. And the third habit we should always have is to look down at the floor. Why? Because looking up or looking back is incredibly hard. As a matter of fact, it is one of the drills that I give my students to challenge their balance. But when you're developing your sense of balance, you always want to look down to the floor, specifically between your hands. When we're looking down the floor, we're actually looking at where our body wants to stack. You want to stack according to where your hands are located. So for most two-arm balancing, you want to look directly between your thumbs, and the oval shape around your hands, that is the center you want to keep and stack with. So just by looking directly there, you'll have a more natural sense of stacking our body according to that area. If we look forward, our spine will curve forward, causing you to banana more. Or if we look back, or if we look up, our body will actually tilt a little bit forward, causing you to fall forward if you're not ready for it. Looking down to the floor will just give you that extra sense of groundedness that you need. Imagine if you're spinning around in circles and you're dizzy, your automatic reaction would be to look down to the floor just to find your center. From there, you know you're safe and you know you're not going to fall over. But if you look up to the sky, you're just going to get more and more dizzy. Same thing happens in handstand. When we look up to the sky, everything changes. As a matter of fact, you can try it out for yourself. You can try handstanding outside and look up to the sky into infinity. And let me know how that goes. I've tried it many times. It's a fun drill to do, and it really tests your balance as to, do you know your center and where you are stacking to? And our fourth habit would be to lengthen your body and avoid hanging in your handstand. What I mean by that is, a lot of people, especially beginners, they just want to sag and hang and just chill there. When in practice, we have to keep working hard, keep engaging the body, and keep pulling our feet and legs up into the air just to maintain that shape and alignment that we want to balance in. When we're in handstand, our body is super active, balancing and reacting to every little movement. Even though on the outside, it might seem like nothing is happening and you're just in a static position, but in reality, there's a lot of adjusting and balancing happening behind the scenes. When we're just hanging in the handstand, we are simply sagging and letting gravity take hold of us bit by bit. There isn't really any readjustments or balancing happening. We're just kind of waiting to fall instead of staying up. Every time we go up into handstand, we want to extend ourselves up and make ourselves feel tall and long. When we're hanging, we're just waiting to fall. We're adopting a very passive role in a handstand, which is never a recipe for success.
I'm going to start tall here, and I'm going to let myself just hang. You see my shoulders are collapsing slightly. My legs are also tilting forward. I'm still staying up, but there is no control here. If I move my legs, I am falling to the floor. I'm going to lengthen myself back up, starting with the feet to the ceiling and shoulders extending long from my scapula, squeezing my shoulders to my ears, and I'm standing here, standing tall, and not just hanging and waiting to fall.
And the last and final habit is to find the best stack. Every handstand position calls for a separate alignment. If you're doing feet together, everything should be straight. If you're doing a straddle, your legs should be open. If you're doing a tuck, you're using a little bit of counterbalancing. But what do they all have in common is that they're all stacked from top to bottom. Each time you go up into handstand, this is what you should be thinking about. Am I in a stackable position, or am I leaving the stack line? If you are stacked, it doesn't matter which position you're in, you should be able to stay up. And stacking will ensure the best and most efficient way for you to handstand. So this would be a great strategy, especially if you're doing transitions. Let's say you kick up feet together and you open your legs to straddle, and you bring your feet back together and you go to tuck and you go back to feet together. Now you're going through all these positions and different alignments, but the only thing that they have in common is the center, which is the stack. How am I aligning my body in order to maintain this center of gravity so I can stay in the middle, so I can stay balanced? Doing that, coupled with all the other tips that I gave you today, will ensure you to have a good handstand. Try these tips out and let me know what you think. Thank you guys for watching the video. And right now, I have some openings for online training. Whether it's one-on-one through Zoom or custom programming, let me know and we'll get it started. Thank you guys so much. Until next time, bye-bye.